Ladies and gentlemen, men, let's get real for a moment. There's something happening every single day that many older men completely misread, and it's affecting how they see themselves, their confidence, and even their interactions with others. Picture this. You're walking down the street, maybe grabbing your morning coffee, and a younger woman flashes you a smile. Instantly, something stirs inside you. Maybe it's excitement, curiosity, or even pride. A thought creeps in. Is she attracted to me? Now, hold on to that thought for a second, because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you see these moments forever. You see, human beings are wired to seek validation. It's biological. From the moment we're born, we look for signals that tell us we're accepted, valued, and appreciated. And let's be honest, in a world that often seems to favor youth and novelty, when a younger woman acknowledges your presence with a smile, it can feel like a powerful affirmation, like a reminder that you still have it. But here's where most men get it wrong. That smile, it doesn't always mean what you think it means. In fact, in most cases, it has nothing to do with attraction. This is where perception plays tricks on us. Our minds don't just see the world for what it is. We see the world through the lens of our experiences, beliefs, and desires. And sometimes that lens is blurry. Men, especially those who have spent decades navigating the world of relationships, carry with them a kind of mental blueprint, a subconscious set of signals they use to determine attraction and interest. And years ago, when they were in their 20s or 30s, a woman smiling at them might have been a clear, intentional sign of flirting. But here's what they failed to realize. The world has changed, and so has the meaning behind a smile. Today, young women are raised in a culture that teaches them to be polite, to be socially aware, and to use friendliness as a tool for survival. Think about it. A young woman smiles at the barista when she gets her coffee. She smiles at her boss during a meeting. She smiles at the elderly man in the elevator, not because she's romantically interested in all these people, but because she's been conditioned to. From an early age, women learn that smiling makes interactions smoother, prevents unnecessary tension, and can even serve as a defense mechanism. It's a social currency, a way to avoid unwanted confrontation or conflict. So when an older man receives that smile, he may interpret it through his own lens, thinking she's interested, but in reality could mean 1,000 different things. She could be acknowledging his presence, being polite, or simply expressing a natural, automatic response. This misinterpretation isn't just harmless, it can lead to frustration, confusion, and even misplaced confidence. If a man walks through life believing that every smile is an invitation, he's setting himself up for disappointment. But more importantly, he's missing the real value of these interactions. Because here's the truth, if you need that smile to feel good about yourself, you're playing the wrong game. The most powerful men in the world don't rely on external validation to determine their worth. They don't need a younger woman's smile to feel strong, valuable, or relevant. Instead, they understand the deeper reality that their power comes from within. So what should you do when a younger woman smiles at you? First, acknowledge it for what it is, without assumptions. Maybe it's respect, maybe it's appreciation, or maybe it's just simple kindness. Whatever it is, your response shouldn't be one of desperation or overconfidence. It should be grounded in self-awareness. Instead of thinking, she's into me, shift your mindset to, I appreciate the positive energy in this interaction. That's it. No expectations, no false hopes. Just a moment of human connection. And here's the kicker. When you stop needing that validation, you actually become more attractive. Why? Because confidence is magnetic. And real confidence isn't about reading into every signal. It's about being so secure in yourself that signals don't dictate your self-worth. This is why perception is everything. If you go through life believing that every smile is a secret message, you'll constantly be chasing shadows. But if you learn to see interactions for what they truly are, You'll move through the world with a different kind of power, a power that comes from understanding, not assumption. Older men who master this concept don't just avoid embarrassment or misinterpretation. They actually become more charismatic, more respected, and more appealing in every area of life. Because the man who doesn't need validation is the man who naturally receives it. So next time a younger woman smiles at you, take it as a moment of shared human connection, not a sign of romantic interest. And remember, your value, your confidence, and your presence are defined by you, not by how others respond to you. That's true power. That's true attraction. And that's the kind of mindset that changes everything. Confidence is one of the most powerful forces a man can possess. It shapes the way he moves through the world, how he interacts with people, and how he sees himself. But there's a crucial distinction that many older men overlook: the difference between real confidence and misplaced confidence. And this misunderstanding often leads to misreading situations, particularly when it comes to younger women and their interactions with them. Many men have been conditioned to believe that external validation equals self-worth. When they were younger, their confidence may have been fueled by attention, attraction, or even admiration from others. A smile from a woman, a lingering glance, a subtle touch. These were all signs that reinforced a man's belief in his desirability. But as men age, they sometimes cling to that old way of thinking. They assume that if a younger woman smiles at them, it must mean she's interested in them romantically. Here's where reality steps in and challenges that assumption. Confidence is not about mistaking politeness for attraction. True confidence is about understanding social cues accurately and responding appropriately. It's about knowing that your worth isn't determined by a reaction, a glance, or a smile. When an older man assumes that a younger woman's smile is a signal of attraction, he risks stepping into a false narrative, one that can lead to disappointment, awkwardness, or even embarrassment. There's a common misconception that confidence means always believing you're desired. But confidence isn't about delusion, it's about awareness. The most powerful men don't build their confidence on assumptions. They build it on self-assurance that isn't swayed by external factors. If a man needs constant validation from others to feel confident, then he isn't actually confident. He's dependent on outside approval. Real confidence comes from within. It's the ability to walk into any room, any situation, and own your presence without needing reassurance. It's about knowing that whether or not someone smiles at you, acknowledges you, or admires you, you are still the same strong, capable, and valuable person. That kind of confidence is unshakable. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it could mean many things. Politeness, friendliness, respect, or even just habit. If the man's confidence is real, he doesn't need to read too much into it. He doesn't latch onto that moment as proof of his desirability. Instead, he acknowledges it for what it is, a simple interaction, and moves forward with the same level of certainty he had before. There's an incredible power in being a man who doesn't rely on signals to determine his value. This kind of man is naturally attractive because he exudes certainty. He doesn't question himself, doesn't overanalyze situations, and doesn't base his actions on assumptions. He simply exists in a state of self-assuredness that makes him magnetic. On the other hand, misplaced confidence can lead to self-deception. If a man convinces himself that every smile is an invitation, he starts engaging with people based on illusion rather than reality. And when reality eventually corrects that illusion, when he misreads a situation and faces rejection or misunderstanding, it chips away at his sense of self. Every time an expectation isn't met, doubt creeps in. The most attractive men in any age group are those who don't need validation to feel secure. They don't chase approval, they don't seek confirmation, and they certainly don't misinterpret gestures as personal affirmations. Instead, they cultivate a deep sense of self-worth that remains steady regardless of external reactions. This shift in mindset is what separates a truly confident man from a man who merely acts confident. Acting confident means looking for cues and responding to them, hoping they reinforce your sense of self. Being confident means walking into a situation with complete inner stability, knowing that no single interaction defines you. If a younger woman smiles, a confident man might smile back, acknowledge the moment, and move on. He doesn't immediately jump to conclusions, and he certainly doesn't let that moment dictate his mood or self-image. He understands that confidence is about consistency, not fleeting moments of validation. The reason why many men struggle with this distinction is that confidence for them has always been tied to external factors: attention from women, professional success, physical appearance. But true confidence is an internal game. It's built on competence, wisdom, self-awareness, and emotional strength. It's the knowledge that, with or without approval, you are still valuable. And here's the best part. When a man embraces this kind of confidence, he actually becomes more attractive. Women, both younger and older, are drawn to men who don't seek validation. They respect a man who doesn't try too hard, who doesn't misread situations, and who doesn't project his own desires onto their actions. This kind of man isn't easily rattled, isn't constantly searching for signs of approval, and isn't thrown off balance by a smile or a glance. This is why understanding the difference between confidence and reality is so crucial. If a man allows himself to be led by assumptions, he sets himself up for unnecessary confusion and disappointment. But if he steps into true confidence, the kind that doesn't rely on external validation, he becomes the kind of man who commands respect, admiration, and genuine attraction without even trying. So the next time a younger woman smiles at you, recognize that it doesn't define you. It doesn't change who you are. It's simply a moment. And the man who can appreciate that moment without misinterpreting it is the man who truly owns his confidence. There is an undeniable difference between youthful energy and the experience that comes with age. Many older men misinterpret why younger women may smile at them, assuming it is driven by attraction, when in reality it is often a sign of something else: respect, admiration, or simple social politeness. Youth represents vibrancy, spontaneity, and curiosity, while experience brings wisdom, stability, and depth. Younger women may be drawn to the qualities that an older man embodies, but not in the way some assume. Society often associates attraction with physical appeal and external validation, but in truth, many younger women admire the life experience, confidence, and maturity that older men carry. However, admiration is not always the same as romantic or physical attraction. Older men have been through life's ups and downs, learning lessons that younger individuals have yet to encounter. The ability to hold an insightful conversation, provide guidance, or share meaningful perspectives is something that younger generations find intriguing. But just because a younger woman finds an older man interesting does not mean she sees him as a potential romantic partner. The admiration is often about what he represents: a sense of certainty, wisdom, and assurance in a world that can feel unpredictable to someone with less life experience. Another element that comes into play is the dynamic of mentorship and leadership. Throughout history, younger individuals have looked up to those with more experience, whether in business, personal development, or navigating relationships. When a younger woman smiles at an older man, it may be because she respects the way he carries himself, his accomplishments, or his presence. It is important for men to recognize this distinction. Misreading admiration as flirtation can create awkward situations and even diminish the respect that was initially given. Moreover, younger women often value authenticity and emotional intelligence, qualities that older men tend to develop over time. Unlike younger men who may still be figuring out their direction in life, an experienced man has already walked that path. He has learned how to handle challenges with composure, how to engage in meaningful discussions, and how to maintain emotional balance. These are attractive qualities, but not always in a romantic sense. Older men who understand this dynamic position themselves to build more genuine and valuable connections. Instead of assuming every smile is a sign of romantic interest, they recognize that they bring something else to the table: wisdom, perspective, and depth. The most respected older men are those who embrace their role as guides, as sources of insight and conversation, rather than those who seek to relive their youth through misplaced assumptions. By focusing on the deeper reason behind a younger woman's admiration, an older man can navigate these interactions with confidence and clarity. The real power lies not in seeking validation, but in recognizing the value of experience and the role it plays in shaping meaningful connections with people of all ages. The way men and women communicate has evolved significantly over the years. Social dynamics today are not the same as they were decades ago, yet many older men still interpret interactions through an outdated lens. This generational gap in communication is one of the biggest reasons why older men misinterpret the actions of younger women, especially something as simple as a smile. Decades ago, social interactions were more direct. Flirting followed a clearer script, and societal roles were more defined. If a woman smiled at a man, it often carried more intentionality. In contrast, today's younger generations have grown up in a world that values friendliness, openness, and inclusivity in social interactions. Women in particular have been socialized to smile more often, not necessarily as a signal of romantic interest, but as a general social courtesy or a way to diffuse tension. For older men who grew up in an era where body language and subtle cues carried more weight in courtship, these changes can be confusing. A smile today may simply be an automatic response, a polite acknowledgement, or even just a way to maintain social harmony. Yet some men may still perceive it as an invitation or a sign of attraction. This disconnect between intent and interpretation is where many misunderstandings occur. Social media, modern feminism, and the shift toward more egalitarian gender roles have also influenced how younger generations interact. Women today are more empowered to engage in casual, friendly conversations without it implying deeper interest. The younger generation tends to communicate in a way that is more platonic and inclusive, rather than flirtatious by default. In professional environments, in social settings, and even in casual interactions, young women are often just being kind, acknowledging presence, or engaging in social norms that have become second nature. Another important factor in this generational shift is the rise of digital communication. Younger women are used to engaging through text messages, social media, and online platforms where casual interactions are abundant. In contrast, older men, who came from an era where most interactions happen face-to-face, often assign more significance to physical social cues. This difference in perception can lead to confusion, where an older man assumes a smile is a rare and special form of acknowledgement, while to a younger woman, it is simply part of everyday social behavior. It is essential to understand that these cultural shifts are not negative, they are simply different. The key to navigating this generational gap is awareness. When older men recognize that the rules of engagement have changed, they can avoid misinterpretation and embarrassment. Instead of assuming deeper meaning behind simple gestures, they can embrace the modern reality of social interaction, one that values kindness and respect without always implying romantic or sexual undertones. Ultimately, those who adapt to the evolving nature of communication will find themselves better equipped to engage with people of all ages. The ability to understand these shifts and approach interactions with self-awareness and emotional intelligence is what sets apart those who thrive in today's social landscape from those who remain stuck in outdated interpretations. In today's world, younger women often smile at older men not because of romantic attraction, but because they have been socially conditioned to do so. From an early age, women are taught to be polite, accommodating, and non-confrontational in public interactions. Smiling becomes an automatic response, a learned behavior designed to maintain social harmony, avoid conflict, and navigate the complexities of daily life. This is something many older men fail to recognize. They assume that when a younger woman smiles at them, it carries the same meaning as it might have decades ago, a signal of interest, admiration, or flirtation. But in reality, the meaning behind that smile has shifted. It is often a neutral or polite gesture rather than an expression of attraction. From a young age, women experience societal pressure to be approachable and friendly. They are often told to smile more or to always be pleasant in social settings. Whether they are in the workplace, walking down the street, or engaging in casual conversations, smiling is something many women do automatically. It's a behavior reinforced by social expectations rather than personal feelings. In many cases, a woman smiles as a way to navigate situations smoothly. She may smile at an older man out of respect, as a general courtesy, or simply because she has been conditioned to respond that way. For example, in customer service roles, women are often expected to be overly friendly and cheerful, regardless of how they actually feel. This expectation extends beyond professional environments and becomes ingrained in their everyday interactions. There is also the factor of self-protection. Women have learned that smiling can be a way to avoid uncomfortable confrontations. In certain situations, it can be a defense mechanism, a way to diffuse tension or prevent an interaction from escalating. A smile can serve as a way to appear agreeable while subtly signaling that they are not interested in deeper engagement. This is especially true in environments where unwanted advances are common. For older men who grew up in a different era, this shift in social behavior can be confusing. In the past, smiles were often more intentional, reserved for moments of genuine amusement or interest. But in today's world, a smile is frequently just a default social tool used in a wide range of interactions. This misunderstanding can lead to misplaced confidence. An older man who assumes that every smile is a form of flirtation may overestimate his level of attraction or misinterpret a woman's intentions. This can create awkward situations where he responds in a way that was never expected or wanted. Understanding this social conditioning allows men to approach interactions with greater awareness and accuracy. Rather than assuming a younger woman's smile is a romantic signal, they can recognize it as a general form of social politeness. This shift in perception prevents unnecessary misunderstandings and allows for more genuine, appropriate interactions. Instead of focusing on external validation, a confident man acknowledges the gesture for what it is and moves forward without attaching unnecessary meaning to it. He respects the social dynamic at play and understands that his sense of self-worth does not depend on whether a younger woman acknowledges him with a smile or not. The men who truly command respect are the ones who understand these nuances. They navigate social interactions with awareness, maturity, and confidence. They don't need validation from every smile they receive because they have already built an inner sense of self-worth that is independent of external approval. This level of awareness creates better interactions, fosters real connections, and prevents the kind of misunderstandings that can lead to discomfort or embarrassment. When men grasp this reality, they are able to engage with younger women and people in general with a greater level of understanding, wisdom, and respect. Many older men do not realize that the way they respond to a younger woman's smile can significantly impact how they are perceived. A man who misinterprets a simple, polite smile as a sign of attraction may come across as out of touch, overly eager, or even inappropriate. On the other hand, a man who understands social dynamics and responds with self-awareness and composure earns respect and admiration. The key to navigating these interactions successfully is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to read social cues accurately, regulate one's own reactions, and engage with others in a way that fosters positive interactions. It allows a man to differentiate between friendliness and attraction, preventing him from making assumptions that could lead to awkward situations. A younger woman's smile is often just a social courtesy, and a man with emotional intelligence recognizes this rather than inflating its meaning. Self-awareness plays a crucial role in this process. A man who is truly self-assured does not need to seek validation in small gestures. He does not let his ego dictate his response. Instead of reacting with misplaced confidence or overestimating his desirability, he remains composed, acknowledges the moment for what it is, and moves forward without overanalyzing it. This level of self-control and understanding makes him more attractive, not because he assumes interest where there is none, but because he carries himself with genuine confidence. Social awareness is another essential component. A man with emotional intelligence understands generational shifts in behavior and communication. He recognizes that younger women have been socialized to smile more often as a general form of politeness rather than as a direct signal of attraction. By being aware of these nuances, he avoids misreading situations and maintains a respectful, appropriate demeanor. The way a man reacts also affects his long-term reputation. Those who consistently misinterpret social cues may develop a reputation for being oblivious or even overbearing. In contrast, men who display emotional intelligence are seen as refined, respectable, and socially adept. They command a different kind of attention, not because they assume attraction, but because they engage with people in a way that is thoughtful and intentional. Emotional intelligence also strengthens relationships beyond romantic interactions. A man who can accurately read social cues and respond appropriately is more likely to build meaningful professional connections, maintain strong friendships, and be respected by peers. He understands that not every interaction needs to serve his ego, and that true confidence comes from self-assurance rather than external validation. By cultivating emotional intelligence, older men position themselves as individuals who are socially aware, composed, and respected. They engage with younger women and people in general without misinterpretation, creating interactions that are natural, positive, and free of unnecessary tension. This ability to navigate social dynamics with awareness and grace is what sets apart men who are truly confident from those who merely seek affirmation. The true power of a man, especially as he ages, is not in seeking validation, but in understanding the deeper dynamics of human interaction. Many older men mistakenly interpret a younger woman's smile as attraction, when in reality it is often a reflection of social conditioning, politeness, or respect, rather than romantic interest. Real confidence is not about assuming every glance is a sign of desirability, but about having the self-awareness to engage with others without misinterpretation. By recognizing the difference between admiration and attraction, understanding generational shifts in communication, and developing emotional intelligence, men can navigate these interactions with dignity and grace. The ability to read social cues accurately, maintain composure, and approach situations with a mindset rooted in self-worth rather than external validation is what separates truly confident men from those who are simply seeking approval. When an older man embraces this awareness, he stops chasing illusions and starts cultivating genuine connections. He becomes someone who is respected for his wisdom, appreciated for his presence, and admired for his emotional intelligence. True confidence is quiet, secure, and unwavering, not reliant on assumptions, but grounded in reality. And when a man carries himself with this kind of assuredness, he doesn't need to question why someone smiled at him because his worth was never dependent on it in the first place.